Well, hello world. Today I want to talk to you about Adblock because it's kind of a controversial topic. I've been asked about it before and I think this would be a good chance to dive deeper into that discussion. I personally have never used Adblock, but I have friends who had. Back when they used it, they didn't even think anything of the fact that it can potentially hurt creators in a pretty massive way. They just thought it as a convenient little tool to just get rid of all that crap we see online all the time. Now believe me, I hate ads, and it means so much to me that so many of my fans are willing to put up with all this bull crap online all the time just to watch my videos. I subscribe to YouTube Red, I have Apple Music, we don't even have cable TV at my house. Essentially, if there's any media that has pretty consistent advertisements on it, I'm not really interested in paying for it or even watching it. Every time I go to a friend's house or just sit in a restaurant and watch cable TV, I'm reminded of how dumb it is that you have to pay top dollar for something that is 50% advertisements. My brain just doesn't understand how that works because I'm used to Netflix or Amazon Prime, and honestly, if Facebook announced something like Facebook Blue and it was literally just Facebook without any advertisements, I would probably pay for that. So I understand people with Adblock wanting to shun all that out of their lives. But then of course there's the counter argument that many of you have heard before. When you use Adblock, it means that the creators you are watching do not get paid. And this is when the moral dilemma comes up and it kind of gets hostile. Because typically in a discussion like this, I would say something like, you like watching me, right? You like watching all your creators on YouTube. Don't you want to support them so that they can keep continuing what you're doing? And if you were to say no, we'd be like, well, you're a monster because you're stealing content from them. And if everyone did what you were doing, then there would be no creators you like, because all the creators people watch would not get any support if everyone used Adblock. So that argument isn't entirely untrue. If everyone did use Adblock, there would be no YouTube essentially. But of course, the people who use Adblock don't care about that. They say the majority of people out there will watch ads, they will pay for the channel, but I am not a big portion. I am in a minority here. I'm not gonna watch them because I don't care for that crap, but everyone else can do it, which yeah, kind of does seem a little bit selfish, but hey, even if they pass laws about it being illegal, it wouldn't really change that person's attitude or opinion or actions on that topic. You can go online and tell them that the fact they use Adblock hurts creators all you want. They're not gonna care. There's still no internet police that are going to barge in your front door and say, turn off Adblock. Now, of course, there are things big businesses like Google can try to do to attempt to stop you from using Adblock. But of course, we know it's the internet. There's always a backdoor somehow. If this program exists, even if Google finds the source of it and blocks it, it will pop up somewhere else. Which I guess is what I'm trying to say about Adblock is it is inevitable. The fact is that it exists and we can't change the fact that it exists, and the people who are using it now are likely going to continue using it, no matter how many laws we pass or how many videos about it we talk about. But there is a couple factors I think people sometimes don't consider. Some people try to put morality in their own hands and out of the businesses simply by either donating directly to their creators so that the people that they like get supported by them financially. So for instance, on Previously Recorded, Rich Evans says it's okay for a fan of a particular creator to donate to the Patreon of that creator they really like and then turn on Adblock for their YouTube videos. That way they say, hey, I'm still supporting you directly and I'm just not gonna watch ads on your YouTube videos, but you're still getting money from me. So what's the harm done there? It's very similar to a piracy argument we've talked about on the Talos of Talks podcast before. Is stealing from a creator okay when it is your last resort? Or if you've paid them and supported them in some other way, does that make it acceptable? That way, when you're watching random YouTube videos, you don't support everybody you watch, as it is right now. Even if you get halfway through the video and you don't like what you're watching, and you decide to dislike and leave, it doesn't make a difference whether or not that creator got your watch time. I experience that all the time on my tech videos. Lots of people hate me, lots of people hate my opinions, but I still got their money, unless of course they had Adblock on. So it seems kind of fair that I'm going to directly support every creator I like, but have Adblock on all the creators I don't like. That way I am kind of in the filter of the money I empower creators with. This can almost make sense to me, but there is a big problem and I'm gonna address it now. A lot of people are forgetting the fact that YouTube shares the revenue with the creators. In fact, YouTube takes a little bit more than 50% of the ads we generate. Now, a lot of people would say that's unfair and that YouTube's being a hoarder for just trying to keep all of that money and only giving the creators less than half of what's actually made. Again, I can understand that argument, but you have to kind of look at it from two angles. YouTube accepts like 4 terabytes of videos every hour, and that's not easy to store. Every single video you upload comes in an average of 5 different quality formats, and every single video you upload has to have an infinite number of comments it can store in the bottom, data for how many views it has. Google tracks every single YouTube creator's watch time and views down to the minute. I can literally look at my phone and see how many views I got in the last 60 seconds and how many content creators are out there. What I'm trying to say is having a site like YouTube is not cheap. In order to sustain literally those millions and hundreds hundreds of millions of users to each have an infinite number of upload times. You know, when you want to upload Shrek by All-Star for 10 hours, YouTube doesn't stop you. There is no upload limit. And of course, all of that is free. That takes a lot of server space, and it takes a lot of data bot management to make sure that all these millions of creators out there get their precise ad revenue via Google AdSense and are able to track all of that data at all times. That's a lot of computing. And the next big problem is not even about technology limitations. The next thing Google has to worry about with YouTube is adapting to the copyright laws of every single country. We have the big issue with channels facing copyright strikes on a daily basis because the Fair Use Act is not being taken advantage of. The fact that, you know, if you want to review movies, it's okay to show clips from that movie. Maybe that's okay in this country, but it's not okay in these other countries. And YouTube wants to be international. They want people from all over the world to use their service, but the laws are drastically different from nation to nation. Now you have a whole bunch of legal battles they have to pay for, and lawyers aren't cheap if you didn't know that. And I might even make a separate video about this, but YouTube is kind of a one-of-a-kind site. There's not a lot of competitors, and it's because Google is one of the few companies that actually has the resources and time to support a media platform of that scale, where anyone in the world can broadcast themselves. So, what's my point? YouTube has a lot of responsibility, and they need a lot of money to sustain this website. I don't want to see it go away. I want to see it grow, and I want to see the problems we're facing right now get fixed. And the bottom line is Adblock, even if you're supporting your creators separately via some other site, via Patreon, even Super Chat is technically kind of separate, and then use Adblock on the rest of your videos. That way you don't have to send money to those videos you don't actually care about. That means YouTube is no longer getting their half of the revenue. So if I make $1,000 in a week, that means YouTube made a little bit more than $1,000 that week. And I care that they get paid because I want this site to remain free for everyone. I want it to be unlimited so that we don't have to pay extra to upload more and more videos. How much would YouTube suck if they said you can no longer upload more than 100 videos and they all have to be under 20 minutes unless you pay extra? I would hate to see that. So that's why I'm okay with YouTube taking such a massive chunk of all creators' revenue. And all I'm trying to say is, Adblock users out there, if you continue to grow and you continue to keep doing what you're doing, we may not have a YouTube site anymore. Because if YouTube doesn't get that revenue, which isn't really coming directly out of your pocket, you're literally just spending 5 to 15 seconds on a stupid ad, which, believe me, I get it. It's annoying, but I hope what I'm saying to you now is explaining to you why it's so important that we all sit through that bullcrap. Now, advertising wouldn't take place if it didn't work, so I know it feels like the ads aren't relevant to you, and they're usually pretty dumb. I can't tell you how many times I get Samsung ads. Like, how useless is that? But 1 out of 1,000 times, someone does click on it and the business benefits from that, whoever happens to be advertising for Google. And that's why, you know, it's really hard to generate an income on YouTube if you don't have a viral sensation. 1,000 views on YouTube is about $1. So if a business wants to just put $500 into Google advertising, which, to be honest, that would be very little. That's not a big marketing campaign. They get 500,000 views. A business would like that. And I think that's why they like Google. They can give a little bit of money and their ad will be seen by hundreds of thousands. So yes, I apologize if you feel a little bit diminished because you never click on these YouTube ads and they never make a difference to you. But I just want to remind you, every time you see that little yellow bar at the bottom of the screen or that little tag that says this ad is unskippable, just remember whatever creator you're watching, whether you like them or not, is still going to have a job. But more importantly than that, the site that you're using, and quite frankly must find entertaining because you're still using it, is going to get a little bit better because YouTube can expand. It can continue to allow more server space so that everyone in the world can contribute. And even if there are creators you're supporting directly via Patreon or some other service, I can guarantee you we all would like YouTube to stay. Like, even if 100% of my fans donated $1 on Patreon, sure, I would make a ton more money, but now could the YouTube site itself cease to exist, and then what am I supposed to upload videos on? Because there's not really a different social media platform that has the grand scope of reaching as many people as possible. The reason we're having to stick with YouTube during all this situation is because there's not some other site where everyone is. Advertisers are not interested in going into some other platform because they know there's not a whole lot of people over there. Whether it be Vimeo or Twitch, the numbers are drastically lower than what YouTube's is. And it's very hard to get a bunch of people to move away from a platform that big. In other words, everyone doesn't just stop using Facebook overnight. They are at 2 billion active daily users. Just because some other social media sites comes up and is kind of cool doesn't mean Facebook's in trouble. People are stationed there, they're comfortable there, and the same goes with YouTube. So I hope that you Adblock users out there realize what you're doing. Again, at the end of the day, this is ultimately up to you. It's definitely a possibility that all YouTube can crash and burn, and all us creators are gonna have to find actual jobs. But again, I can't do anything to stop you if you still want to use it, and I just really hope you make the right decision, and I hope YouTube is able to support themselves themselves via some other way. I really think YouTube Red is a great service. The worst thing about YouTube Red is that it's not available in all countries. I get that comment a lot, and it's awful because having no ads and being able to save them offline on your phone and having those YouTube Red originals come out, it's great. And if you didn't know, if you're subscribed to YouTube Red, the creators you watch actually get more money than if you just watched ads. That's why I wish everyone could do it, is because if we all had YouTube Red, all creators would actually make more and all of us would have no ads, great YouTube mobile features, and overall it would just be a greater platform if we were all willing to just spend a little more. Cable TV is over $100 and YouTube is free, and you get all this unlimited entertainment, and for just $10 a month, people, that's nothing. You can have all of that commercial free and also support all the creators you watch directly. So those are my thoughts on Adblock. What do you think? Is there some points that I left out that make it justifiable? I don't think so, but I'm curious. Let's hopefully have a very civil discussion in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a nice one. Take care.